All right, today in prospecting the Packers, and Alex, you can just chime in with any extra info that you want to share, but also any feedback on this. So I'm pulling this one from The Ringer. I like how they set it up, so we're going to go with this one. It's Graham Barton. Tackle.
Oh, dude, I love this guy.
From Duke. I do, too. I think he would be great for any team he lands on. Super versatile. But instead of me sharing my insight, let me first give you the tail of the tape. 6'5", 313 pounds. I love at the age they have it like 21.9. So he's basically 22 years old. But here's what they... shades of Mitch Morse is what they say. Rugged, athletic left tackle who blocks with consistent technique, good balance, and strong hands. He profiles as an interior lineman in the pros. I honestly think this guy could be a sneaky, legitimate, great center. I really think that he could be that guy. I know Wilde and Tausch talked about earlier. Maybe the center's not as important as other positions on the line, but I would say this, and I think Tausch was kind of dancing around it. I think if you have an elite center, it could be one of the most important things to fill. Like, all things being equal, if you have a capable center, you'll be more than fine. But if you have I'm not saying that Barton will be that guy, but if you have a Kelsey-type center, someone that can get out and move, get to the second level, I think they can change your entire offensive line, and that's one of the... And if you have a guy like that, he could be your most valuable offensive lineman.
Here's the thing, though, Jim, because I don't know if he's a center. Why I love him is because he fits the Packers' mold of he can play multiple positions. He played left tackle and center in college, and I would guess he's probably more of a tackle if the Packers are to bring him in year one, because Josh Meyer's still under contract for next year. He's a former either second or third round pick a couple years ago by Goody. Yeah, I don't know how you feel about Rasheed Walker at left tackle. I think he's fine enough, but this would probably be viewed as an upgrade day one. We heard and have used a ton of the Domovsky clip from a week ago on Wilde and Tausch saying they've used Zach Tom maybe as the center of the future. So Graham Barton might be a guy that you could play a guard or tackle or center, and he just fits the Packers mold, because you look at guys like Elton Jenkins and now Zach Tom, who are both Goody draft picks, that can play all over the offensive line. He fits that. So that's what excites me about Graham Barton. I really do like this name in the draft because he's viewed as probably the most versatile in terms of the ability to play multiple positions, offensive lineman in the draft.
The reason why I didn't go to left tackle is that it says here, and again, everyone has their own grade on it, he profiles as an interior lineman in the pros. But I think that has a lot to do with maybe, honestly, if someone profiles as an interior lineman, best case scenario for a tackle, they could kick out the right tackle. So, but to your point, he does fill a lot of holes. And the Packers don't trade up, because I think if they wanted to get a guy who was a clear-cut left tackle that you would just want to roll with without any question marks day one, you got to go up a little bit.
Yep.
I think Walker, and I'll just do the comp for the team I follow, it's much like Braxton Jones, who was a fifth-round pick for the Bears. The Bears have him. They like him. But he's, I think, a solid starter. Just like the guy the Bears had before that, a sixth-round pick, Charles Leno. Solid starter. They let him walk. And I think that Jones is a similar player. Like, he's a starter. Good. And Walker, for the Packers, I think he can be a solid starter. But, and I've said this a couple times, to the point of left tackle, how could it be sexy? Well, the Packers are going to have to be in that unfavorable position of having to pay your quarterback an ungodly amount of money. But you know who else gets an ungodly amount of money that we don't talk as much about the rookie scale deal? Is left tackles.
No doubt.
So if you have a left tackle on a rookie scale deal, that would help mitigate some of the issue of having to pay your quarterback a stupid amount of money. With Barton, it is smooth footwork and refined technique are some of his little icons about him. And then I'm going to share some background here. A senior, former 3-star prospect out of Tennessee. He was the 41st guard recruit in his class, the 671st player overall. That, to me, says this guy has been exceeding expectations his entire career. Played 6 games as a true freshman as a center, then played left tackle as a sophomore, all ACC in 2022, and missed 3 games with a undisclosed lower body injury, and was expected to play center at the Senior Bowl, but missed the event due to the injury. So here's the last little bit here, and then, Alex, I'll ask you if you'd be excited or sad if the Packers drafted Graham Barton out of Duke. Barton is a steady, easy-moving technician on the offensive line who blocks with a feisty demeanor and a fundamental positioning. He brings potential multi-positional versatility, why he could fall. He lacks the length to play left tackle and is likely viewed as an interior lineman only.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted because I know we have this conversation every year around the draft, but the verbiage used to describe these guys...
Feisty demeanor?
Feisty demeanor.
I like it.
I mean, that's awesome. I remember last year, me and Chris Orr were filling in for you and Matt, and we read Chris's draft profile when he came out in 2020, and it's just like, you got to think of how many people they're writing about, right? Like, to keep the vocabulary fresh. It's very impressive. So feisty demeanor for Graham Barton, I very much like. Yeah, I'd like this pick. As I mentioned, this is actually one of the few guys I've read into, just because I like the versatility. And what we know about Goody when it comes to drafting offensive linemen is guys that can play at multiple spots. I already mentioned Elton Jenkins and Zach Tom. Adding a third in there for depth interior, right? I mean, I don't know how much they're in love with Sean Ryan at right guard, who is the projected starter as it stands right now. So I love this pick. And I got to give you guys credit, Ryan and Jim, for this series. Peter Schrager is one of the NFL guys I trust the most on pretty much everything. I think he's super plugged in. He does a great job talking to teams, talking to GMs. He released his first mock draft today. Packers stand at pick 25. I would just like to read you some of the names that are drafted around 25 because I think you've hit everyone now. At 22, it's Cooper DeJean, who I believe started this series. At 24, it's Texas wide receiver Xavier Worthy.
Yes, we did that when you were gone.
There we go.
At 25, to the Packers, he has Amarius Mims, the offensive tackle
That
from
was
Georgia.
the Wildy suggestion.
I think that's likely as well. 26 to the Buccaneers is Duke's Graham Barton.
What about Kool-Aid?
At Kool-Aid McKinstry, number 30 to the Ravens.
And then the last one we had was
Okay.
Chop Robinson.
Chop Robinson.
Go ahead and guess which two Matt Hamilton brought to the table.
I would guess Chop and Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Which are ones that are bigger misses, too. Yes.
Yep. I was listening both of those days as well.
Yes.
Matt was very chuffed about the names.
Yes.
Chop Robinson not in the first round
Yeah, I think that's probably
of
right.
this mock draft.
He just wanted to say Chop Robinson and Kool-Aid McKinstry. So
Oh, boy.
leave it to Matt to throw off our pinpoint aim.